Hello, good morning, and God bless you. My name is Simano, and welcome to my channel, The Secret Place TV. Yesterday, God began to speak to me to communicate a message to people about the power of expectation. The power of expectation. Most of us, we are believing God to do something, but we're not doing what we are supposed to do to make God do what He is supposed to do. We are casual about our desires. Yes, you pray about it, but you don't have expectation. And you are not practical about your expectation. Once in a while, you just pray casual prayer and you're asking God to do something for you, but there are things to do. Prayers don't just get answered. There are other things you must do for prayers to get answered. Let me tell you something. Prayer is a project. Prayer is a project. So anytime you are desiring something from God, consider it a project. And that means you have to build an altar for it. Now, what I'm talking about, building an altar, prayer altar, I'm not saying you should go to the corner of your room and start putting up some status. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, you have to consider it a project and you have to approach it as a project. I remember my final year in the university back in Nigeria, we were to write a project. Final year project, right? And they asked us to pick a topic. So you pick a topic on your project and you make research on your project, and you have to approach it in a strategic way. All right. So there are books that they tell us pick one or two or three books and research on those books, based on the topic you have chosen, and analyze the book. So that was how we wrote our project, right? Now, when you are asking God to give you a child, is a project. When you are asking God to give you a spouse, is a project. When you're asking God to give you a job, is a project. When you're asking God to open doors for you, to heal you, healing is a project. Let me tell you why. Because the enemy doesn't want you to have a child. The devil doesn't want you to have a job. The devil doesn't want you to get married. The devil doesn't want you to be healed. So consider it a project. So it's more than expectation. I talked about having expectation. You have to be practical about it. There's an approach to a project. When something is a project, you build a structure around it. You build a routine around it. All right? You must build a routine around a project, because there's a certain time to pray. There's a certain time to read a book, concerning that situation. There's a certain time to do other things so you can realize what you're asking God. I want to encourage you today. Don't be casual about your desires. Some of us, we are just casual. You are like, whenever God wants, He can do it. Whenever God wants, when He's ready, He will do it. I'm telling you something. Let me tell you, a man in the Bible sat by the pool for 38 years. He was not healed. 38 years. He wasted 38 years of his life sitting by the pool and never got healed until he encountered divine intervention. Because he said, I'm waiting for somebody who will help me, throw me inside the pool when the angel of God stirs it. There's nobody to help me. You see, when you are not doing what you are supposed to do, you make excuses. When you are not doing what you are supposed to do, you begin to make excuses. You blame other people but yourself. Whatever you want God to do for you, you have to build it as a project. You have to approach it as a project. You don't sit down. You don't waste time. You are not expecting somebody else to do it for you. In fact, let me tell you something. This will shock you. It is not God's responsibility to do what you are supposed to do. If you are supposed to fast, God won't fast for you. And there are prayers that will never get answered until you fast. There are prayers that will never get answered until you go on fasting and prayers. If you're expecting God to read books for you, you are wasting your time. You have to read and get knowledge on that matter. See, knowledge is power. When you are praying or when you are dealing with a situation and you have knowledge about it, it's easy to handle it. I love books, and I have a lot of books. You can see I have a lot of books. So, and I like to give out books as gifts. When somebody asks me for a gift, normally I buy them a book. Your birthday, I love books. I can buy you a book for your birthday. Oh, all right. So you got to start reading. The Bible said that Daniel understood by the books. There are things you will never know until you read anointed books, not just any book, anointed books, anointed books. All right. I woke up this morning about to do my devotion, and the Spirit of the Lord brought this back to my spirit. And he said I should speak to people about the power of expectation, and that they should consider their desires a project and approach it as a project. Whatever you're asking God, you need to make it a project. I don't know what it is you are believing God for, but it's a project. And because it's a project, you have to have a prayer structure around it. You have to have books you are reading concerning that. When somebody asks me, sometimes when someone asks me to pray for them to be healed, I will give them a book on healing. Why am I giving you a book on healing? I want you to get knowledge about your divine health. I don't just want you to be healed. I want you to have divine health so you will never get sick again. I have never spent 1 second or 1 minute laying in a hospital bed because of sickness. I don't get sick. I don't get sick. I remember one time the doctor told me that I had high blood pressure. He gave me medications. I couldn't take those medications. I demanded for my healing from God, and I got healed. Why am I saying this? I'm not saying that medication is wrong. Please, if you are taking medication, go ahead. But what I'm saying is there is a higher dimension. There's a higher dimension. And don't just approach your desire as, a casual thing. It's not a casual thing. All right? If there are strange things happening in your life, you need to consider it a project. If there's a pattern in your family, a negative pattern is a curse. A negative pattern is a curse. People die young. People suffer a particular sickness. People don't get married. People get jobs and they lose their jobs. People don't have children. A negative pattern in a family is a curse. Is a curse. You have to get up and pray. You need a prayer altar. You need a certain time in the day and at night that you pray about that. Get scriptures from the Bible about that issue and build a prayer project. Stop sitting around. Prayers don't answer themselves. You got to push. You have to push. You have to fast. I was telling somebody that every year, by the grace of God, I do 40 days fasting every year. Every year, I have to do it. All right? Why am I doing it? Am I asking God for money? No, I'm not asking God for money. But I have to do it to prepare myself for my assignment. Because I know that I have a huge assignment, And because of that, God put pressure on me to prepare for my assignment. All right? Most of the time that I do a video and send it out is because God spoke to me. And for God to speak to me sometimes, he has to put me on fasting. For God to reveal something to me sometimes, he has to make me do some things that other people don't want to do. I want to encourage you, sit up. You got to sit up. Whatever you're asking God to do for you, you have a part to play. You have a responsibility. There's something you must do for that prayer to be answered. Businesses don't move themselves. You have to do something. All right? You got to get up and stop blaming people and stop complaining and stop, crying. Tears don't answer prayers. And when you are crying, the devil is happy. And your tears don't move God. It is your faith and responsibility that moves him. You got to sit up. Whatever it is you are asking God is a project. Approach it as a project. Build a prayer routine around it. Get books about it, anointed books. Get scriptures about it. Fast if you have to. And stop sitting around and waiting for things to happen. It doesn't work that way. All right? Things don't just happen. Somebody push things to happen. You got to push for things to happen. All right. God bless you. And share this video with people. Like I said, my platform is not for a particular church. I don't preach church. I've never come here telling you come to my church or whatever, leave your church. I don't do that. Whatever church that God plants you, stay there and serve him. Wherever God plants you, stay there and serve him. But have an intimate and personal relationship with God. All right? God bless you. My name is Emmanuel, Secret Place TV.